This video was supposed to be a summer project idea, but then in the present situation of lockdown, I thought it will be helpful in taking your mind off from the information overload that is happening right now. In this video, I'm trying to put together certain activities in which parents and kids can engage and make something meaningful and interesting. Now, if you don't like an idea, you can always skip to the next one. The information is given in the time code below, or maybe scrub the video if that is your thing. Fair enough? I'm Josh and you're watching my DIY channel, Video Epo. Welcome back, guys. So here's the drill. I will try and explain the concepts verbally or through some hand-drawn drawings. Then I'll start looking for things to make it in my house or in my kitchen or in my garden. Now here's the thing. The materials that I might find will be very different from what you might find. So what is important is the concept. Whatever I'm trying to make is only a proof of that concept. So making that clear, let's get into the first idea. Now this example is widely used to communicate the COVID-19 pandemic and the imminent need for social distancing at this moment. Now this, my friends, is called a domino effect, and these are dominoes. I bought this from Amazon and these are the only ones that are left with me, so why not make some more. These are the edge banding runners that I use for woodworking, but I'm sure not many will have these. But here is a very quick tip for you guys. Now these are fruit crates that I salvaged from a fruit vendor and they usually discard it. So this is a very good source of wood, and I use it for a lot of school projects that I do for my kids. I'm not going to show you how to cut it into small pieces of squares. I'm sure you can figure that out yourself. But right now I'm going to go and cut these pieces into small dominoes and let me see what I get.
This footage is in real time so that you can see how easy it is to cut these things. The cut made with the saw left the cut marks very harshly, so I switched to a hacksaw for a finer cut. The top and bottom of each domino needs to be flat and square, and therefore a little sanding helps us achieve that. Once I cut an adequate number of pieces, I set them up to check it was worth the effort and it meets the expectations. But the fun is not complete without colors. Why choose this color? Well, it is the only one I have right now.
You can see here that the dominoes that we've made are not consistent in their sizes, but that should not be a problem. And I'll tell you why. The fact is, a domino can knock 1.5 times bigger than its own size, which means we can gradually increase the size all the way up to an Empire State Building or even bigger than that, and you can knock it off starting with a small little domino like this. If you don't believe me, watch this video.
Smallest domino is about 5 millimeters high and 1 millimeter thick. Ready?
The ones that you see here in orange are the ones that we've made, and I've set them up. I wish I could show you in real time how much time it takes to set this up, but that's the fun part. You can figure that out yourself. Now, there it goes. Let's go on to the next idea. We'll have to go to the chalkboard. I have some explanation to do. Now this is a really simple schematic that we have here. We have a battery which has got a plus and a minus, that is a positive and a negative terminal, and from there two wires run to a bulb. When the switch, there is a switch connected in series to the bulb. When the switch is open, the circuit is open, the bulb does not glow. When it is closed, the circuit is complete and it glows. It doesn't really matter if you're going to use incandescent bulbs here, but if you're going to use LED lights, you will have to understand that the positive end of this one should be connected to the positive end of the battery. Now this is a simple schematic. Now we will use this idea to make another project. Now this is a plank of wood, simply to hold all the parts together. Two small little pillars which are made of wood. Now the idea is, there's a battery. One terminal of the battery is connected to this twisted open bare wire. The other terminal is connected to the bulb, and one terminal from the bulb is made into a loop, and this twisted wire is made to go through that loop. As long as the sides of the loop don't touch the wire, the light remains off, which means you can continue playing. Like you can start from one end and you can continue playing. But the moment it touches it, the light glows and you're out. So let's make this small little game. I've got my workshop inside my house, so it is fairly easier for me to source all these things, but to give you guys a head start and to let you know the way I think, I've got everything here on my table, so I'll start explaining things one by one.
The power source is going to be a battery, and finding one is not so difficult considering the number of appliances that use batteries. I found a 9-volt battery and the rest were out of charge and need to be disposed carefully.
For the bulbs, You can find bulbs in flashlights. I've got some bulbs that I used in my previous projects, so I have one of those bulbs and one of the holders. But if you don't have these holders, you can again tape the wires and get going.
Almost everyone has a hot glue gun these days, which is all we need to put everything together.
So that's about it. Let's start making it.
Since I've already explained the concept, I'll simply rush through the making of the project. If you'd like to see this making in detail, let me know in the comments below and I will post a separate video for it.
It took about 15 minutes to put these things together. Now the two additional things that I've done here is I put a switch here so that we'll know when the game starts, because otherwise it will be on all the while. And I've also put a buzzer here to give some additional drama to it, because the light glows a little slower. So now let's take it back all the way to the starting point and start the game. So the game is started. Now I have to make sure that the light or the buzzer doesn't go up. It's quite difficult. See, it's already once. So maybe you can give them 2 or 3 lives while you're playing, and then. The challenge is to take it all the way across without touching any of those. So switch it off. So that's how to play this game. Out. I hope you enjoyed the last concept, and in this concept we are going to keep the same idea of continuity of the circuit, and we are going to make it into a match the following. So I'll be using some cardboards, and on which I'll paste images of fruits as an example, and the names, which is all jumbled up. Now what will happen is that there will be 2 wires. When the kid touches the correct answer on the pins given here, these are board pins which are metal pins, the correct answer, the light glows up. How does that happen? That's because on the back side the correct answers are already connected. So when you touch both of these nodes, the circuit gets completed and the light glows. So that's the idea. So let's see what we can do. So let's see what we got here for the next one. I've got a board that I've painted in black just so it looks nice. I've got the same bulb and the 9-volt battery and the buzzer, and I've got 2 of these EP pins. Don't worry if you don't have them, you can always use some old auxiliary cables or broken headphones. And I've got lots of wires and a clip that holds the cardboard sheet and a lot of board pins. We also got some cardboard and an old book of fruits which we are going to use for the match the following.
I'm attaching all the components on the back side of the board so that it looks neat. Here is a quick test. When we touch the probes to each other, the circuit gets complete and the light glows and the buzzer beeps. So far, so good. Now that the main board is complete, let us work on the individual sheets. The images can be cut out. In this case, I'll be using 4 or 5 images. The chart will be too flimsy, therefore I am pasting it on a sheet of cardboard. All the images are pasted on this chart, and the next thing is to insert board pins adjacent to the pictures that we have just stuck. Any plastic casing on the board pins have to be removed, exposing the bare metal of the board pins. Once the pins are placed on the workpiece, it can now be flipped and we can connect the respective terminals. The long and sharp ends of the pin extending from the back of the cardboard can be trimmed and secured with hot glue.
So here is the completed project. We have this clip here so that we can change the sheets or whatever board we are going to use. So I'm going to place it here and then clip it. Okay, hope it stands there. Now we have 2 probes coming out of it. Now for the first one is apple. So if I touch any other thing other than the correct answer, nothing happens. But the moment I touch the right answer, there we have a beep and a light. So the second one is orange. So if I touch the wrong answers, nothing happens. The right answer, it beeps. So for the next activity, we'll need some magnets. If you already have magnets with you, well and good, but if you don't, where to find them? Well, you can go and look onto your refrigerator, you might find some there.
Doesn't work. Good to go. Good to go.
You can also find magnets on the cabinet locks. You can also find magnets in speakers as well as headphones. You don't have to destroy any of these. You can simply borrow it for some time. Now that you have some magnets with you, the next thing we want to do is grab a piece of iron rod and a file or a big nail and then start grinding this iron rod. What happens is that when you file this iron rod, you will get a lot of iron fillings and you have to collect all those iron fillings. Next, you need a plate, something that is non-metallic, preferably plastic, and then you can drop all your iron fillings into that plate. Now when you bring the magnet underneath of it, you can see that it forms a really beautiful texture, something that is just right out of a science fiction film. You can watch this for hours and you can try and do a lot of gimmicks with these.
Just watch how these iron fillings interact with the magnets. This is in real time and the effect is mind-blowing.
Magnets are really cool stuff. You can have endless fun with them, and this is one simple thing that I could think of. Now let's move on to the next idea.
For this activity, we need some crayons, and I also have a printed image of a girl with umbrella. You would also need a heat gun or use hair dryer if you have that. On a piece of chart, using a double-sided tape, we can stick the crayons on the top part of the chart. Use whatever you can for this task. It is important they are stuck properly. Once all the crayons are stuck, this chart can be mounted upright on a convenient spot to work with. Then using a heat gun, we can begin melting the crayons. Be mindful that it splatters everywhere, and after some time it looks something like this. The image of the girl was pasted on a black chart and it was cut out. The black chart makes it look like a silhouette. We can paste this on the artwork and trim it to size. I must mention that this idea is not mine. I saw it on YouTube years ago and wanted to try it ever since. I'm glad I did it somehow.
Try not to get too much into what I've made here. I'm only trying to share the idea. I've seen a lot of creative ones on the internet on this genre. Check it out if you're interested. Now for the next activity, we'll need some clothespin.
Hey, what you're looking at? I'm a talking clothespin.
Have you ever thought of making a puppet that is easy to make? Now this idea is for you.
Clothespin puppets are very popular, really easy and fun to make. You can Google for the templates and a lot of free templates are available. Download the template and you can let your kids to color it. Stick this on a foam board or on a chart and cut it out. We can cut it on the given cut marks and paste one half on the top and the other on the bottom of the clothespin. And there we have a puppet and it's time to have fun.
Hey buddy, what's up? Nothing.
It was a long video, guys, I know. I had to roll up 6 concepts into one video. Now if you made it this far, please do let me know which is the idea that you liked or the one that you did not like. Now for the closing line of this video, I've got someone else to do it for me.
Guys, I hope you like this video. And if you do, please don't forget to share and subscribe. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll be back with another video very soon. Until then, bye.